Hello, and welcome to episode number 327 of the TEW 2020 Challenge Run. This is going to be SmackDown. Hello, and welcome to episode number 327 of the TEW 2020 Challenge Run. This is going to be SmackDown for week 2 of January 2023, and it's going to be, the follow-up from last week's first show of the year, the Battleground special, where he made a big announcement that at the Royal Rumble, Seth freaking Rollins will defend the WWE Championship against Brock Lesnar. And the Beast will be here tonight to, I guess, discuss the match. And also we know there's going to be a big Tag Team Championship Contenders Gauntlet tonight. 7 teams. The New Day, DIY, Hit Row, The Miz and Grayson Waller, La French Connection, and the Fritz brothers, all in that. And we also have another Royal Rumble qualifier between Bobby Lashley and Timothy Thatcher, and a Samoan Street Fight Royal Rumble qualifier between Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu. Without any more further ado, let's jump straight into the show. We kick off with the entrance of Brock. Brock comes to the ring. Heyman's with him, obviously. And Heyman has the mic in his hands. And he goes, "Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Paul Heyman, and I come to you tonight not as the wise man of the tribal chief, but as the advocate for the soon-to-be next reigning, defending, undisputed WWE Heavyweight Champion, Brock Lesnar." And then Brock takes the mic off him, and he goes, "How we doing, ladies and gentlemen, here tonight in, where the fuck are we? I can't remember where we are. Somewhere in California, I think. But he says the town name. He's got his cowboy hat on, his vest on and all that, obviously. He's that Brock. He goes, "Ladies and gentlemen, as you saw last week at the Royal Rumble, Seth freaking Rollins, the WWE Champion, his match, he's going to go one-on-one with Brock Lesnar for the WWE Championship at the Royal Rumble. Now, Seth, you may have beaten Paul, his other advocate, his tribal chief, whatever he calls himself these days, a man that obviously I know all too well. I don't know a thing or two about beating Roman Reigns myself, Paul, you hear?" And Heyman sort of doesn't say anything because he doesn't want to get in between his two boys, you know? He goes, "So, ladies and gentlemen, Seth freaking Rollins, that coward, that pussy, ain't gonna be able to beat this big Canadian alpha male, this big farm boy at the Royal Rumble. It's been long overdue for me to get my championship back. It's been nearly 3 years since I won that championship." I've completely lost the Brock Lesnar voice here, but it's fine. It's fine. And he's like, "Anyway, I'll bid y'all good night. Just want to come on here and make my threat to Seth Rollins. Y'all have a good day. Enjoy the show." And then Heyman's confused, "What the fuck, Brock Lesnar? What are you doing? Why are you being such a king?" And then as Brock goes to leave up the ramp, Solo's music hits. Obviously the hired gun of Seth Rollins. And he's coming out for the opening match, which is the Samoan Street Fight between himself and his cousin Jacob Fatu. But he ain't backing down. He's getting in the face of Brock. And Brock just stands there. He just stares a hole. He chuckles at Solo. Solo just glares a hole through him, and they cross paths on the ramp. And then Brock continues walking to the back as Solo just glares at him as he walks past, before he heads to the ring for the opening match of the night, which will be the Samoan Street Fight between Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu for a spot in the 2023 Royal Rumble match. Match gets a 68 because, Solo's still on the up. And he wins here tonight again. Another loss for Jacob Fatu, huh? After nearly 2 years of being unbeaten in this company. Kind of weird, he's lost 4 or 5 matches on the spin at this point. I wonder what's going on up there. But anyway, it is Solo Sikoa who punches his ticket to the Royal Rumble, spinning Solo, puts down the Samoan Werewolf in 13:28. 57 for Solo and a 69 for Jacob Fatu. I don't think this had a storyline attached, technically, because, while they are both in the same storyline, this isn't Seth and Roman, so I guess they weren't that in the actual storyline in the game. But a big win for Solo as he joins the field. The field is pretty stacked. I think there's not many men left that I've got to announce before the show, because I don't want to obviously announce everybody. But yeah, Solo Sikoa in the Royal Rumble. We then got to a pre-tape. Angel Garza's in the back of a car. He's got a blindfold on. Dixie's driving. Maria's in the other front seat. And he's all excited, obviously. He's in his best suit. He's got his best cologne on because MILF Manor, featuring not AJ Styles, fuck's sake, Angel Garza, is tonight. She's like, honey, you better hold up in there because you never know where we're going to take you. You're going to love it there. And he goes, oh, I'm excited. And if them driving to MILF Manor, you can see them pull in with the sign on the side of the road. To be continued. We will get back to Garza's ventures later on tonight. But before then, we see Hit Row backstage. Swerves, he's giving Top Dollar and Ashanti a pep talk. Like, tonight is your night, boys, you know. You want to be the SmackDown Tag Team Champions. Tonight is your night. You're going to win this gauntlet match. Prove to the world that you are the top tag team here on SmackDown. And he's like, we got you, Swerve. You know, we're going to get that big win tonight. It's going to be great. You know, those other tag teams don't stand a chance. And then Riddle walks in and he goes, what's happening, my bros? And Swerve's like, oh, it's you, yeah. I forgot I'm teaming with you in this gauntlet tonight. He goes, hell yeah, you are, bro. Now listen, bro. I'm just going to say, I came here to sort of, you know, go over the Hit Bro strategy plan with you, bro, before tonight, the gauntlet. And Swerve's like, okay, then do tell. And Riddle sort of looks across at the other members of Hit Row. He's like, I mean, they're our opponents tonight, bro. They're going to have to leave. And Swerve's like, you're joking, right? You're coming into our room and telling us what to do. We're the group here. Okay, we don't even want you here. But I got stuck with you tonight, so if you're gonna go over this Hit Bro plan, I don't want to hear it. Okay? Because here's the real plan, Riddle. If it comes down to it tonight, and we have a choice, either this make-believe tag team of yours here, or Hit Row here, the actual stars, we're gonna lose. Because we ain't a team. These two are. That's the way it goes. Okay? Now hit the bricks. Riddle goes, well, I'll see you out there, bro. I'm excited. You know what number we pulled? I know. I'm gonna go pull it out right now, bro. We then cut backstage, and Morgan is like, he's got like her hair's all swept over. Hams is like standing next to her, just like rocking back and forward. And she's like, you should have seen it. It's okay. We went to your bar, this family bar that you run, and like, it's like, there's this wicked witch, like Nikki Cross is there, and she like tied me up, and I was like, it's really, really gross. Like, I didn't really like it being around there. But then, we never get this. There's another witch, this other girl, like she was doing the spooky stuff, and it was all really weird. And like, they offered us the chance to get away, and they're like, oh, you gotta come back here. I'm like, why would we go back there? Like, I've got no interest in going back to that bar. It's fine. And Fallon goes, well, first of all, it sounds like we need to sell, because I'm not entirely sure I like the family bar being overrun by witches, but it's good to know that you're safe. And like you said, if they're waiting there for you to come back and you've got no reason to go back, then you don't have to. And then Ham sort of just, her eyes just widen, and she goes, Goku! And then Morgan looks over and she goes, what now? And she's like, the witches, they still have Goku. And Morgan's like, oh, right. I mean, listen, Ham, we'll buy you another stuffed pig, it's fine. And Ham goes, no! We have to get him back. We have to go back and fight the witches. And Morgan's like, please don't say that. She goes, no, come friend, we must fight. And then she grabs her by the arm and whisks her off. And Otis and Fallon sort of look off confused, and she's like, well, I'd hate to be them too. We then get Kayla is interviewing the former SmackDown Women's Champion, Kairi Sane. And she says, Kairi, last week you had your chance, your rematch for the SmackDown Women's Championship against Bayley. And you couldn't get your championship back. Bayley and Damage Control the numbers proved to be too much, and you stand here without the SmackDown Women's Championship. And what's it going to take? What's next for the Pirate Princess? And Kairi goes, as much as I'd like to be SmackDown Women's Champion again. I lost. I will have to earn my rematch against Bayley. But I'm going to do that by winning the Royal Rumble. And Candice LeRae walks into frame. And she goes, hey, you know, you're a great champion, and like, I would have loved to have, had a match against you. Like, I mean, you would kill it in a title match. But, you got this whole thing with Damage Control and Bayley, 2 belts, Cora and Dakota. They're kind of getting on my nerves too. So, consider us, I don't know where AJ Lee's at tonight, but us are a, I guess, alliance against those 3. And then in walks Anne-Marie Paul and Kelsey Cook. She's like, look at you, you're still doing this. Like, have we not established by now that you girls aren't on their level, okay? Like, Kyrie, you lost, okay? I mean, we're not with Bayley and Cora and Dakota, but they helped us see the light. But here you two are still being delusional that you think you're ever going to win the Royal Rumble and get your championships back? Oh, that's adorable. Okay? I'll tell you why. Because you're not even going to be in that Royal Rumble. Because tonight, it's you two against us two. Royal Rumble qualifying tag team match. The winning team gets to be in the Royal Rumble. And when we put you down, you got someone else to cry about. Okay? And Kyrie says, well, that's big talk from 2 women we beat back at Survivor Series. Clean swept, 5-0, I believe. And Amber's like, you wait till tonight. So there's your main event. Anne-Marie and Kelsey getting a SmackDown main event against Kyrie and Candice. Winning team is in the Women's Royal Rumble match. Speaking of Royal Rumble qualifying matches, we now have another man entering the field. His name is the almighty Bobby Lashley. He defeats Timothy Thatcher in 12:34 with a spear to punch his ticket into the 30-man extravaganza. 80 for Bobby Lashley and 84 for Timothy Thatcher, and an 88 overall rating for the match. Like, that didn't need to go this hard. Like, did I make this a wild brawl last time? Nope, literally just randomly just open call in ring. The game just decided we're just going to slap. Okay, but yes, Bobby Lashley joins the field of 30 for the Men's Royal Rumble match. Speaking of the Royal Rumble, Kayla is backstage with the United States Champion, Warden. And Kayla says, 2023 for you, Warden, picked up exactly where 2022 left off, and that was with another dominating victory, another dominating performance. Continue your run as the United States Champion, pinning Jacob Fatu. And quite frankly, you've beaten pretty much everybody here on SmackDown during this reign so far that stepped up to you. What is next for you? And he goes, I feel like you're asking me this question every 3 weeks, Kayla. This is how the story goes, okay? I stand here, championship on my shoulder, fresh after I just beat somebody. And you go, what's next for you, Warden? And I go, I don't know, I'm not going to fight anybody. And then someone else walks in and challenges me to a fight. That's what happens, okay? Must have happened like 28, 29 times at this point. Because I like the sound of dominating 29 other men, Kayla. So here's what's next for me tonight. I've got my own thing to say. Is that you're going to see me, Warden, in the Royal Rumble match. And then Big E walks into frame. And he goes, are you done? Are you done talking? And he's like, I certainly am, yes. He goes, well, I think I have to wait for you to finish talking since you're so against these rude interruptions that you've still been getting, and I do agree that has been very disrespectful towards you, Mr. Champion. But as the winner of last year's Royal Rumble match, I need to tell you that you're maybe a little bit in over your head, boy, because I'm back in this match tonight, and after my big win last week, I'm taking momentum all the way to the Royal Rumble. And I look forward to seeing you in that match. Because as for Biggie, as for Kofi and Woods, they're going to win this gauntlet tonight. And they're going to be the next SmackDown Tag Team Champions when they beat the Cyclone in the Royal Rumble. And I think it would be great if all 3 of us had some gold hidden in a WrestleMania season. So you wouldn't better watch your back. Because that championship, I got my eyes on that. I then walked the Revolution, Buster Gates, Nebo Barnes, and Rufus Hamilton. And he goes, well, if it isn't the mighty New Day, giving it all talk, no action yet again. You think for as long as you three have been together, you'd have got better material by now. Look, we get it, Big E. You won the Royal Rumble. Congratulations. It was a great moment for you. Kofi, for every time you've been in the Royal Rumble, you've made headlines for your heroic feats of bravery when you stayed in that match. And Woods, you're also here. But it's time to maybe, take a step back, because you won last year's match, Big E. You've had your moment. Step out of the limelight. And now us three, the future top stars here in WWE, have got to sit back and watch has-beens like you eat up our spotlight? I don't think so. And they just walk off. Big E's like, what was his problem, huh? We then cut to a Chase U segment. And Andre Chase is leading his class. And he goes, boys and girls, tonight is a very special lecture here at Andre Chase University. Tonight we're going to talk about the greatness and the strategic ability behind tag team wrestling. Okay? So, as you can see here, they got Thea and Haley. You've been doing some good work in the women's tag team division down in NXT recently. Good girls, one day you're going to get those titles. You got Shane and Bodie. You've been doing some great work in the tag team division here, but we do have two special guests. Please give it up for two former NXT champions, two former champions here on SmackDown. Mr. Keith Lee and Mr. Braun Breaker. And then the camera pans across and there's Keith Lee. I imagine he's proper into it. He's got a Chase U jumper on and all sorts. And Braun Breaker's there just in his normal clothes. And he says, now Mr. Lee here says that their budding, incredible tag team, the Limit Breakers, have fallen on rough times recently. And he says that despite him being the brains and Braun being the brawn, they need to really get their head in the game and really learn what it takes to be a true top tag team here in WWE. And well, when it comes to teachings, there ain't no better place to be than Andre Chase University. So boys, well, pleasure to have you here today. And he goes, the pleasure is all mine, sir. And Braun goes, hey. And Andre's like, now, the first thing first is psychology, To work as a tag team, it takes more. You can't just stick two individuals in a tag team and expect them just to click right away, huh? And then Braun and Keith Lee sort of give each other an awkward look. And then he goes, you gotta, work on your moves. Make sure you're both on the same page, like, when to tag, what to do once you've tagged, things like that. Yes, Thea's got her hand up. She's like really excited. She goes, I mean, I don't mean to interrupt, Mr. Chase, but like, this is Keith Lee and Braun Breaker. There's a former world heavyweight champion sat next to me, and Keith goes, "Oh, I am flattered that you're so excited about my presence, but I won't make a sound." And Chase goes, "What'd you say, Keith?" He goes, "I didn't say anything." And he goes, "You think you're better than me, huh? You think you can teach this class better than I can, huh? What the f*** is the matter with you, Keith, huh? We should won't even come into this class if you think you're better than me, huh? Because you won a big fancy world heavyweight championship, you won a Royal Rumble when John Cena screwed you out. You think you're better than me, huh? In fact, I don't even want you to be here anymore, Keith. I gave you the honor of being in this class, and you're disrespecting me." And Keith's like, I didn't say anything." And then Braun stands up, and he gets in Andre Chase's face, and he goes, "You better watch your mouth, Mr. Chase, or I'll shut it for you." And Keith's like, "Oh no, please, there's no need for such hostility here in the classroom." And Thea's like, you should teach him a lesson, Mr. Chase. Nobody disrespects you like that." And he goes, "Huh? Maybe I will, huh? Maybe I'll come to SmackDown next week. Maybe I'll whoop this guy's ass." And Braun goes, "Oh, I'll be waiting for you. And they leave. So Keith, in his continued effort to teach tag team clicking to the Limit Breakers, took them to Andre Chase University, and it didn't end so well, because it ended up with Braun Breaker and Andre Chase getting into a fight, And next week they're going to wrestle on SmackDown. I don't know. I'm still undecided if I'm actually going to use this as an actual call-up for Chase U, or if it's just going to be like a one-off cameo, because it made sense to send them to university if they're trying to learn stuff. So, yeah. That's next week. Braun Breaker against Andre Chase. We're going to come back to the ring, but the Paragon are in there. Because who's ready for story time with Adam Cole, baby? Now you see, 2022 was an up and down roller coaster year for your boy Adam Cole, baby. He started the year leader of the greatest faction in the history of NXT, okay? But when those disrespectful punks like Kyle O'Reilly and Roddy and Bobby decided they wanted to be elsewhere, I had to kick them to the curb. And then some stuff went down over the summer, which I'm not even going to get into, but be careful who you call your friends, people, is the story, the lesson of this story of Adam Cole, baby. And now, here we stand, Adam Cole, baby, finally at home. The Paragon stands supreme, and the Fritz brothers are about to win this gauntlet match. They may have drawn number one, but they're going to go all the way bell to bell, because there ain't no tag team here that can stop them. Because they're the best tag team wrestling's in their blood. Then Bobby Roode takes them, he goes, that's it, they're going to get in here, and they're absolutely going to KO everybody, huh? And they're going to knock them all out, and it's going to be absolutely, and Adam Cole goes, what did you say? And he says, I said it's going to be absolutely glorious. And he goes, no, before that. And then he's like, they're going to KO everybody in this gauntlet. And Cole goes, they're going to... Never mind, anyway, let's bring out the first opponents. It's a new day, yes it is. Kofi and Big E open the gauntlet alongside the Fritz brothers. Kofi, of course, knows a thing or two about gauntlet matches. So, they could be considered the favourites to win, even starting. But in an upset, the Fritz brothers beat the New Day and eliminate them from the gauntlet first. David Fritz pinned Kofi by underhanded tactics in an 80 rated match that goes 9 minutes 12. 64 for Kevin Fritz, 65 for David Fritz, 79 for Kofi Kingston, and 89 for Xavier Woods. And yeah, in a shocker, the New Day are first out. And then up next we have La French Connection, brought up by David Martin. And they're going up against the Fritz brothers. And in a 50, this one not as good. The Fritzes keep their momentum going. David Fritz submits Idris in 4 minutes and 50 to get them their second win of the gauntlet. A 60 for Kevin Fritz, a 56 for David Fritz, a 50 for Idris, and a 45 for Malik Blade. And then coming out fourth in the gauntlet is, I believe, the former SmackDown Tag Team Champions, Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa. And an 85. They unfortunately put an end to the run of the Fritz brothers. 2 eliminations, one of which being on the New Day, is a very, very good outing. But it is DIY in the end to come out on top. Gargano pins Kevin Fritz with a meeting in the middle for an 85 rated match in 10 minutes and 26. This is the best part of the gauntlet, apparently. 68 for Kevin, 69 for David, 73 for Ciampa, and an 89 for Gargano. Next up, Hit Bro are here. And somehow, in 11 minutes and 8 seconds, these two dysfunctional tag team members who hate each other pin the former SmackDown Tag Team Champions. Swerve pins Ciampa with a handspring back elbow in 11 minutes and 8 seconds. In an even better portion of the gauntlet, this one gets an 89. 77 for Matt Riddle, 73 for Swerve, 73 for Ciampa, and a 92 for Johnny Gargano. And Swerve and Riddle celebrate Hit Bro despite against all odds, have the victory. Then next up is Hit Bro themselves, Top Dollar, Ashanti, the Adonis. And we heard what Swerve said earlier on tonight. You know, if it came down to this, then he's going to favour his boys, the actual tag team, over this make-believe bullshit team that Matt Riddle's got going on here. Matt Riddle, though, didn't get the memo. And in 5 minutes and 54, he chokes out Ashanti the Adonis in the guillotine choke. And Hit Bro advance over Hit Row in the penultimate match of the gauntlet. 72 for Swerve, 77 for Riddle, 76 for Ashanti, and a 61 for Top Dollar. I need to take B-Fab off Swerve. I keep seeing that note down there, and that's why he's not doing so great. But yes, Matt Riddle did not get the memo, and of course, Swerve's angry. And he gets it because, what the fuck, bro? Like, we had one job, okay? I said one thing to you, and that was that if it came down to this, us against them, we lose because they're the tag team. We're not even friends. This will never be a thing. Riddle goes, well, come on, bro. We're clearly doing so great, bro. Like, we beat the former champions. We beat these boys. You know, bro. We're gonna come out on top. We've got one more team left to do. And Swerve just shoves him on the floor, and he goes, "You can do it by yourself. Come on, boys. B-Fab." And then Hit Row leave. Matt Riddle laying on the floor after he got shoved to the floor by Swerve. Then out come The Miz and Grayson, one of the final team in the gauntlet. Their shit-eating grins on their face. Because this is going to be easy. All they've got to do is beat just Matt Riddle, the two of them. And they get the tag team title opportunity against the Cyclone at the Royal Rumble. But Riddle, he ain't going down without a fight. And he welcomes the challenge of The Miz and Grayson Waller. And in 10 minutes and 30, Matt Riddle submits The Miz with a guillotine choke to win the gauntlet for Hit Bro. 79 for Riddle, 67 for Grayson Waller, and an 81 for The Miz. And despite wrestling the last match of the gauntlet by himself, Riddle wins, and him and Swerve get a tag team title opportunity against the Cyclone at the Royal Rumble, which leads to Ricochet and Bronson Reed coming out with their belts, and they're like, well, good job, bro. Like, yeah, you won. And he's like, oh my god, bro, it's gonna be so great. Like, Hit Bro, we're back in business, bro. We had a little bit of a tight spot just then, but you know, we're back in business, bro. It's gonna be off the chain, bro. We'll see with the Rumble. We're gonna take those titles. So yes, the Cyclone will defend the the SmackDown Tag Team Championships at the Royal Rumble against Matt Riddle and Swerve Scott. Hit Bro. We then got back to Garza's MILF Manor, and he gets out of the car and he takes his eyebrow off, and there's a big sign that says, "Welcome to MILF Manor." He goes, "Oh my god, I love it. I can't wait." And he's all smiling, he's got his suit on, and he opens the door, he goes, "Ladies, I'm here." But there's no MILFs inside. And he's like, where are they? Where are the ladies? And Dixie's like, "Honey, I swear they were all here when we left." And he goes, No. Where are the honeys? And Maria's like, "Yeah, but Dixie, she's not lying. Like, we had them here before we left, but now they must all be gone." And God's like, "Well, why would they leave me? They must have known I'm coming. This is MILF Manor. You know, that's why I'm here. Why else would they be here?" And then Jojo walks into frame, and she goes, "Can I help you?" And then God's like, "Hola. What are you doing here?" She's like, "Well, I was here with a bunch of girls. Like, there's supposed to be some sort of, like, girls stag do. And, like, they all left. I don't know why. It was Maria and Dixie there came in, and they're like, they obviously said something to them, and they all left, but I was in the bathroom, so I didn't quite hear them. So I'm sort of confused as to where everyone's gone." And Garza goes, "Oh, no. You don't listen to them. You listen to moi." Moi is French. Sorry. You listen to me. "You are looking mighty fine tonight, may I say. Have a rose." And she's like, "Thank you." And he goes, "No problem. At least tonight wasn't a complete waste. Unlike what will happen on MILF Manor on NBC when all the MILFs go to the manor. Don't miss it. Beginning January 15th. And he winks at the camera. And he leaves. So yes, we did a promotional tie-in with the new hit show, MILF Manor. It's real. Look it up. And just a funny Garza segment. He had his own MILF Manor, and obviously nobody came because they don't want to be degraded like that. But JoJo didn't get the memo. And she appears to have been roped into this shit show. So, good for her, I guess. I mean, she's a mother, that's why she's here. But JoJo, Maria Kanellis, and Dixie Carter. What a crew. We then see Hit Row backstage. And Top Dollar, he's livid. He goes, "Oh, I can't believe we came up short of Shanky. You know, maybe next time you're going to show us what Hit Row is all about." And so I was like, "Can you believe that, Matt Riddle?" And they're like, "What?" He's like, "You know, winning, you know, I told him before the match, you know, that if it came down to it, us against you, that we'd lose because you guys are the real team here." And Top Dollar was like, "Swerve, no, chill, bruv. Like, we wouldn't want that free handout, you know. If we're going to get the tag team title shot, we need to earn that tag team title shot by ourselves. And we came up short. We came up short against you and Riddle. That's just the way the cookie crumbles, you know." Swerve goes, "Well, it isn't. Because I crumbled that cookie myself because I walked out, so Riddle had to fight the Miz and Grayson Waller all by himself." And then Riddle walks in and goes, "Hey, bro." And he goes, "What are you so happy for, you know? I thought you'd come here to, you know, shout at me after what I did and after I stood you up tonight." He goes, "Listen, bro, I understand that the stress of you having to wrestle your friends here, that probably got into your head a lot. You probably did some things you didn't mean out there, bro, like, but let me hear you out, bro. I choked out the Miz." And Swerve goes, "What?" He goes, "I choked out the Miz, bro. We won the gauntlet. We're going to the Rumble as a tag team. That's the Cyclone for the tag team championship, bro. Isn't that great?" And Swerve, he's like, "Oh." I mean, I have to be impressed. Like, I don't like that you did it, but I have to be impressed. So, guess it's us against Bronson Reed and Ricochet at the Royal Rumble. He goes, "Yep, skadoodle, bro. And guess what, bro? It gets even better than that because I talked to Pierce on my way here. And, bro, guess what? I got you a match against Ricochet next week, bro." And Swerve like, "Fam, like, no. Like, I didn't ask you for you to book me in a match. I mean, I'll wrestle Ricochet. Me and him are, you know, two insane athletes, but just stay out of my business." And then Riddle's like, "I think you mean stay out of my business, partner." Oh my god, bro, we're gonna be so great. I need to get more shirts printed because I said this. I was there back in High Voltage, bro, but we're gonna be there again. Hit Bro's going back on tour, 2 weeks time, bro. I'll see you there. Don't mark your calendars and don't miss it, bro. It's gonna be big time. And he leaves out of excitement. And Top Dollar's like, "Well, congratulations, bro. You're getting a title match." And he goes, "Shut it, okay." But speaking of next week, as we just heard, we've got a couple of big matches announced for the show. Starting with that match there, Swerve Scott taking on Ricochet after Riddle overcame the odds in tonight's gauntlet match to earn him and Swerve a tag team title match at the Royal Rumble. It'll be Ricochet against Swerve Scott one-on-one on next week's show. And we also heard that next week, Andre Chase is coming to SmackDown with the rest of Chase U by his side to watch Mr. Chase in action on the blue brand as he takes on Bron Breakker following their little spat earlier on tonight. And also announced next week's main event for the United States Championship. Warden collides with Big E. What a match that's going to be. And yeah, both men we now know will be a part of the men's Royal Rumble match, because Warden announced himself earlier on tonight, as well as Bobby Lashley and Solo Sikoa qualifying for the matches they won earlier on tonight. And that field, I believe that's everybody from at least the SmackDown side that I'm going to pre-announce for the men's Rumble. But nobody for the women's Rumble announced yet, because we're going to find out who's going to be from there in that main event tonight coming up next. But we do know the SmackDown Tag Team Championship match will be Bronson Reed and Ricochet defending their championships against the dysfunctional duo of Swerve Scott and Matt Riddle of Hit Bro after Riddle's absolute heroics in tonight's gauntlet match. AEW Rated main event. I know I could trust this to be solid. Like, I know this wasn't going to be like a 90 or anything. I know I could trust this to get a good rating because Candice and Kyrie are good, and Kyrie is the women's wrestler of the year. But to no one's surprise, the two women going to the Royal Rumble are Kairi Sane and Candice LeRae. Kairi pins Anne-Marie with the insane elbow in 12:27. 81 for Kairi, 80 for Candice, 67 for Anne-Marie Portman, and 63 for Kelsey Cook. And yeah, that's a random main event, but a pretty solid one in all things considered. And then out comes Bayley and the rest of Damage Control. And she goes, "Oh, would you look, it's these two girls again. Kairi, look. Okay, I get it. Last week you're still a little bit angry that I managed to defeat you and you didn't get your championship back. But guess what? Ding dong. Life ain't fair. And Candice, I don't know what your problem is. Okay, you may have beaten Cora and beaten Dakota, but you haven't beaten me. You gotta beat me to actually come out on top of this thing. So neither of you were going to win the Royal Rumble because neither of you have really got it in you to win the Royal Rumble. That's not the sort of thing that you do. And I will continue to reign as the SmackDown Women's Champion, heading into WrestleMania and beyond as Bayley dosh straps. And there's not a damn thing you can do to stop me." And then Candice takes the mic and she goes, "I mean, sure. Yes, you're right, Bayley. There's probably not a damn thing we can do to stop you outside of winning the Royal Rumble. But if me and Kairi are both going to be in the Royal Rumble, who are you going to defend the title against that night?" And Bayley's like, "Ding dong dummy, I'm going to get the night off." And then Candice's like, "Oh, do you really think so? Because I seem to remember last week that somebody made it abundantly clear that they were after that title." AJ comes back out. And because she comes out on the ramp, and Damage Control are still at the bottom of the ramp, and Candice and Kairi are in the ring, there's really nowhere for them to go apart from backing into the ring. Cora gets a back fist from Kairi. Dakota takes a something super kick maybe from Candice. But Bayley's still on her feet as she looks around at the two women in the ring, and then looks back at AJ coming in. And Bayley tries to escape, but Kairi and Candice grab her, hold her in position. AJ hits the Shining Wizard. And she grabs a microphone and she goes, "Is this it, Bayley? After all these years, me and you, we go way back. You know, I saw you were something of a daughter, like when you were in NXT. I thought, this girl's gonna be the future. She's gonna be so great. And here you stand, what, 8 years later, and you're a double champion. I couldn't be more proud. You know, except for who you've become. And quite frankly, now I'm rooting for you to lose. After all that time of, you know, hoping for you to succeed. And that time for you to lose is going to be coming at the Royal Rumble. Because I'm coming for that championship I've never won. And I'm going to be the new SmackDown Women's Champion and end this dosh straps thing before it even gets going. See ya there, honey." So there's the announcement. AJ Lee, the one challenging Bayley for the SmackDown Women's Championship at the Royal Rumble. But that's not the end of the show, because we get something of a post-credit scene here. Jacob Fatu, he's not in a good mood. He's got his hoodie on. He's pulling his little back of little whatever they're called along. Why can't I think of the fucking word? You know what I mean? The thing with his stuff in. That, yes. Luggage, yes. That's the word, that was the word I was looking for. When we just hear and the frame walks Seth freaking Rollins with his WWE Championship. And he goes, "Look at who it is. Samoan Werewolf. The undefeated monster. I remember a time when nobody on this entire company could beat you, Jacob Fatu. Okay? And then that little streak of yours came to an end almost a year ago at this point. And I wonder who that was back at WrestleMania, who was the first person to pin you 1, 2, 3 to the mat. Oh yeah, it was me. And I see you've fallen on tough times here, buddy. You know, and look at Solo. He's in the Rumble. He's still undefeated. He's never been pinned here in WWE. Starting to regret your decision yet? Because those other cousins of yours, they don't really care about you. You're just a number to them. But this cousin right here, as you can see, could lead you to a greater path. Well, that's me babbling, I've got a match with Brock Lesnar to prepare for, so be seeing you around, big boy. And he walks off just chuckling to himself. And then Jacob Fatu sort of just looks at Solo. And Solo's there with his arms crossed. He's also got his hoodie up. And he just looks him up and down, just nods his head and just walks away. And that's how the show goes off the air. 87 rated show. There's a lot of wrestling. Apparently we use Solo too much, but that's how you get somebody over. Yeah. What a night for Matt Riddle specifically. And for, I guess probably Lashley and Solo Sikoa as well. But yes, that is the end of SmackDown. But there is one more show for this episode, and that is Velocity. See you on the flip side for that one. Velocity kicks off with the Nice business in the ring. And he says, "Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Anthony Nice, and I stand here alongside still the face of Cruiserweight Wrestling, still the greatest Mysterio in the history of wrestling, still Cruiserweight Champion of the World, Dominic Mysterio." Now, Wes Lee, for all the credit I can give him, he was a good champion, a good little transitional champion is what he was. But he was never the sort of guy that you see on billboards. He was never the guy to bring Cruiserweight Wrestling to the relevancy that it once had. Okay, that is the Mysterio name, that is Dominic Mysterio, not his has-been father. Okay, maybe 20 years ago, his father, he was the face of Cruiserweight Wrestling then, that mask, everyone knows that's still synonymous with Cruiserweight Wrestling, but not today. Today, this is the Mysterio that's going to take that title into the Royal Rumble match. Okay? So, Dominic gets a rest until the Rumble. He ain't going to wrestle, he ain't going to defend his championship until then, but these three, Archer Wakefield, Arya Daivari, Sean Daivari, they're ready for trios action right now. So any trio in the back who thinks they're the greatest trio of cruiserweights, come and test your wits. I will give you 500 guesses as to who answers the open challenge. Obviously, if you're in Discord, you'll know. But for everybody else, out come the Mexicools, Super Crazy, Psychosis, and Juventud. And they're the three that are going to answer the call here tonight. They're back in WWE. How random. This started as a bit when I randomly said, oh, someone should, or someone said, guess who's coming out in one of these shows I'm booking. I went, Super Crazy. And then it evolved from there, and I've now ended up bitting myself into giving the Mexicools a 1-year Velocity run. So here they are. Enjoy them while they're here. And yeah, they're gonna wrestle Archer Wakefield and the Daivari brothers in a match that gets a 40, because nobody apparently cared about any of these people. But to be fair, that's a good rating for being dinged by unimportant people. And it is Hoovy the Juice who picks up the win for the Mexicools. He pins Arya Daivari with a sit-out scoop slam driver. 49 for Hoovy, 40 for Psychosis, 47 for Super Crazy, 47 for Sean Daivari, 52 for Arya Daivari, and a 51 for Archer Wakefield. And there we go. Mexicools win, their banging theme plays. And yeah, there's another new trio for Velocity. We then cut backstage, and Velocity's greatest announcer, Funaki, is with R.E. Sterling and Lewis Booty. And he says, I with the pirates. And he goes, Yar, you shuar, Funarchy. Now let me tell you that Zachary Ben Shahar and those lady killers, or whatever they call themselves, been a pain in the old arse of R.E. Sterling recently. But, as you notice, our landlubber Ryan Booty, not by our side this week, but next week he will be cleared to wrestle. So let's put this to an end. Zachary Ben Shahar, You and your 2 little boys against me and my booty twins. And then it would be some pirate-themed gimmick name for a match. I can't think of anything off the top of my head. Maybe, actually, Ulma X would probably work, because, X marks the spot and all that. But I don't know if I want to do that. I don't know. I'll have it named by next week. But yes, the 6-man tag is finally going to happen. It got delayed because Ryan Booty tore his bicep. But he's coming next week. ROE Sterling and the Booty Twins against the Lady Killers in 6-man tag team action. An 80-rated match here. I knew this one would be good as well. There's probably be another one of those ones that are like, oh, you've got to go hunt down that match. Flamita from NXT, who I have yet to rename, hence he's still called Flamita. Wrestles Grand Metalik in a banger. Goes 40 minutes and 10. Metalik wins with the Metalik driver. He gets an 84 and a 65 for Flamita. And yeah, a nice win for Grand Metalik here. And then the main event also gets an 80. I was expecting that to do as well as Metalik and Flamita, but oh well, I'll take it. Evan Bourne and Drew Gulak. Obviously, Drew Gulak 1/3 of the Trios champions, but they can't all wrestle tonight because Thatcher wrestled Lashley on SmackDown. But he wins with a spine splitter on Evan Bourne in 12:32. Drew Gulak gets an 88 and a 68 for Evan Bourne. And that ends Velocity, which gets us a 74. 2 banging matches to close out the show. But of course, the most notable thing is the return of the goddamn Mexicools. And so yeah. But what matters more than the 74 is what you thought of the show. Mainly SmackDown. But if you do want to leave a comment that says, "What a great way to start the new year with the return of the Mexicools," feel free. But with that out of the way, I'll see you next time for Raw. See you then.